Hi everyone, and welcome to this Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater Collector's Edition unboxing. We've got a pretty big box here, so let's not hold you guys up too much and get right into it. Let's get this thing open. Pull this out. So right away, taking this collector's edition out of its shipping box, we can see that the logo is printed up here on top, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. So for those of you that don't know, this is actually a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. I'm not really sure why they chose the Delta, but I'm going to assume it's because of the 3 points in a triangle. That's just my assumption. They might have already, released an official explanation as to why it is Delta, but this is one of my favorite franchises, if not my favorite franchise of video games. As you can see, I have the PlayStation 2 original version of Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater. So looking at the original just a little bit, we can see the front cover and the back. Looking inside, the disc and the notebook or manual. I think there's even a little comic strip in here somewhere. Oh, there it was. The good old days when all video games came with, manuals. Alright, let's put this away and get right into the Metal Gear Solid Delta Collector's Edition box. I got this, as I mentioned, I am a fan of Metal Gear, so being a fan of, especially of the third one, meant I had to secure the Collector's Edition. Pretty big box. These sides are, there's a Delta printed on the side of it. I'm gonna go ahead and show this in a different shot here so you can get a better look at all the angles of the box. So now that you're able to see all the angles of this collector's edition, let's take a look at some of the contents from the box. So it says it has a terrarium diorama on here. It has the game Halo Jump Patch, metal game case, a fox patch, and Snake's ID card lanyard. So far, right away by looking at it, pretty standard to have a collector's edition. What is, somewhat surprising to me at, this moment is that it includes the game, which is actually a physical edition of the game and a metal game case for it, so aka a steelbook for it. So that is actually kind of surprising to me, but it just doesn't make sense to have a collector's edition without a physical copy of the video game. If you've seen my last video with Death Stranding 2, they tend to box their games or anything coming out of PlayStation as of late in their collector's editions has not included any sort of physical game in their collector's editions. So this is actually nice to be given a physical box and to be given a metal game case for it. Without holding all of you too much, let's go ahead and cut right into this. As you saw earlier, the cover is just this portion. As for the actual box, let's see what design it has. Cool, on here you can see just about the whole box. There's a little bit of some glare, but you can basically see the whole image. This actually looks like, or one of these portions of screenshots look like a part of the game where you fight the sniper. Not too much of a spoiler. Looking at the images on the side of this box, it all looks like in-game screenshots that they printed onto here. And down here you can see I don't think it's called an alligator, but it looks like one. You know, if you know, you can definitely leave a comment, you know, just to correct me. So look at that, there's actually a really nice shot right here of Snake with a, looks like an M16. Enemies crossing a bridge, I believe that's pretty early on in the game. So yeah, 4 in-game screenshots printed onto the box. That's actually pretty unique. I'm not sure I've ever seen anything like that in any of the other collector's editions I have. So, you know, in-game screenshots on the collector's edition box. That's actually pretty cool. All right, so let's go ahead and see the physical items in here. Pull this little styrofoam off. Right away, looking in here, we are greeted with the Steelbook, the ID card, and some patches. So let's pull these out and take a look at them. Honestly, looking at this right away, this little insert here is actually suede. It honestly looks very detailed, and you know, the way everything is packaged looks very nice. So this has an A for presentation, in my opinion. Looking at these patches here, cool, getting that without too much glare. This actually feels like a rubber patch, so this is cool. We've got a Fox patch here, so you know, if you've seen the game or played the game, you know, Fox plays a big part in, you know, the story of the game. Let's take a look at the ID card. I'm not sure how well you can see it, but it has Snake, you know, printed on here. Everything is in Russian, I believe. Looks Russian. Cool thing is it has Konami branding down here. I'm not sure if you can see that very well. And then here is the, I would call this lanyard, I suppose, to, you know, attach to the card itself, and then, you know, wear the card if you like, or insert another image in here and, you know, wear the card holder. I am curious to see if indeed that Snake ID card is paper or if it's actually some form of plastic. So let's take a look. Whoa, I'm actually pretty impressed. This leather feels genuine. Look in there without the card. And the card itself, so it's not necessarily paper, it's not plastic either, but it does feel like a cardboard cutout. So not that I care about it too much, but that is kind of a drop in the quality of the overall collector's edition. So let's put this away. Let's take a look at this Steelbook. Oh, just all blacked out Fox on the back. Actually looks very nice. Can't see that too much. I'll take it out of the packaging so we can take a better look at it. Looking at the Steelbook, it is detailed. Says Konami here, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater on the back as mentioned, just a Fox logo, so that's very cool. If I remember correctly, I want to say this picture was actually a cover art for maybe earlier collector's edition of the game. I could be wrong, could be some sort of cover art I saw elsewhere, or maybe I'm just confusing it for another piece of art for the video game. Let's take a look inside. Cool. Okay. Let's go ahead and put this away. Honestly, since this comes with both the Steelbook and the actual box, I believe, let's go ahead and take a look at that. quick little warning message on here, not for children 12 years and younger. But yeah, look, here is the physical box. The regular box, I believe you could just buy these in the store. In here, core experience, you know, same message that comes on the back of the collector's edition. So it looks like this is the tactical edition. Must come with you know, the extra goodies for pre-ordering, you know, or for, you know, picking up the collector's edition. This might be a bigger or better edition, I would say, with the extra downloadable content for the Metal Gear Solid Delta game. And let's take a look inside so we can sort of compare it to the original. It feels kind of light, so I don't think there's going to be a manual in here, which is, you know, pretty much expected. Sheesh. This game has, you know, right away taken off the plastic, you know, covering. It's got a smell to it, and I can't lie, it smells pretty good. It smells like a brand new, you know, plastic case. Opening it up. So right away, let's take a look at this disc. For some reason, I was sort of expecting it to be very similar to the original. Let me pull that up here. Which, I mean, it looks similar, but, you know, similar just because of the foliage and such, trees and all that, but really not the same at all. Here we do have download codes. So I believe this is for, I guess it's just specifically for having the tactical edition. So there's a ton of skins included down here, but you know, it also comes with a white tuxedo and sneaking DLC pack. So very cool. I just looked at the back, download codes are there. Let's see if there's an image painted on the back of the box. Looks like a bridge is painted back there, one of the bridge shots from earlier in the game. Looking at the disc. Okay, let's get that put back inside. Perfect. Putting everything back how I found it for now, and let's get rid of this suede insert and take a look at the actual physical statue, or diorama I should say. Okay, so cardboard cover here to, I'm assuming, protect the diorama. This one feels pretty thick. Cool, pulling this out. Got it. Smooth this box. So that's honestly very, very interesting. It is covered in plastic, and then there is a ton of other styrofoam in this plastic case. So I'm assuming this must be very delicate. There's tape up here, so let's go ahead and cut right into that. So because this case is plastic, I do want to be careful with my cut, because if I scratch into the plastic, you know, it might leave a scratch. Nice little pop there. Okay. Let's take this cover off. Take these inserts out. Oh, that's interesting. So it looks like this thing is actually in pieces. Okay. So I slid this out, you know, looking at it, it includes this foliage here. In here was where this tree is sitting right here. So this here actually looks like a protective screen. So then that peels off right here. If I peel this off, this whole protective screen comes off. And here it is. Tree stump portion slides right out. Underneath is just the plastic and another styrofoam piece. In this box, or this other plastic covering where the stump was being protected by, if we lift up this tab here, we can see another little tree stump here. A satchel, I believe, and we've got snake right here. So that's actually pretty, you know, I don't want to say strange, but it's very abnormal. You know, this collector's edition seems that you've got to basically put it together yourself. So in a way, that's pretty neat. But you know, most of the times these collector's editions do come basically already built, and you know, that's the standard way of doing it. So the general idea, I believe, is to keep it in its box, which by box I mean this, you know, plastic covering, and then place down the character, or I should say snake, with his satchel, which, you know, trying to figure out where this satchel is even supposed to go. Oh, you know, unless, yeah, let's figure this out as we go. So general idea of what it will look is something like this, with all the greenery, you know, attached all around. Just to keep everything together for the sake of it, I won't be, you know, putting it all together, as most of the time, if you see my videos, I keep all the collector's editions just, you know, tucked away, throw them back in the box, put them away. Again, I don't know why I do this to myself, but for the most part, this is just about everything that is included in this collector's edition. So overall, this collector's edition does run for about $200 USD. So that's the amount I paid. That's not including tax. I did see online, I believe there is a European version of this game, and the collector's edition for that is actually quite different. So, you know, if you're interested in that, I'm sure you could probably find a video or look online for some pictures of that. But other than that, you know, I do appreciate everyone for tuning in and watching this video. If you'd like to see more content like this, please feel free to leave a like, a comment, and most importantly, subscribe to support more content like this for all of you. Thanks, everyone.